Here at Sewer Lines Only, we do a lot of sewer scopes, so we thought it might be fun. All right, we probably have different views of fun. Let's call it interesting or useful to take you through some of what we see when we do these inspections and how you might prevent some of these problems or repair them. All right, let's get started. Oh, hi there. Don't mind us, we're just passing through. That is a good segue to foreign objects in your sewer line, and this is the most common foreign object that we find, in this case, tree roots in a clay sewer line. Proper maintenance with cleaning once or twice a year, you can keep roots at bay and clean them out and keep your line running pretty smoothly for almost indefinite period of time. If you don't maintain your line though and you have roots in there, they can build up, cause a clog, and be impossible to remove with a cleaning. This is actually an example, same location. After we've cleaned it, you'll see there's no roots, so you can remove those roots quite well. This is an example of a crack in a clay pipe. This one's pretty minimal. There are roots coming through the top of it, but if this was the only problem with your sewer line, you might want to just keep an eye on it, and you might be able to delay repair for at least a little while. It does suggest that your sewer line is getting near end of life though. This, on the other hand, is a much more significant crack, and in PVC no less, which is pretty difficult to crack. In this case, the customer was doing construction on top of their sewer line, hit it, and cracked it, and so you can see obviously this will need to be repaired. That's a good reminder to make sure you know where your sewer lines are when you're doing construction or landscaping in your yard. Save yourself a hassle and a headache. This is the inside of an older cast iron line. It has what we call scaling, which is a buildup of corrosion, basically rust inside the line. You can see this is really rough. It will catch debris and create a clog, or could create a clog, and you'll see it also kind of narrows the line quite a bit. We would usually recommend that you clean this line, and then you could assess the condition of the actual underlying cast iron a lot better to determine whether you needed to repair it or not. This is a cross-section of actually a different line, but a cast iron line where you see quite a bit of buildup in there, and so you can see how much more narrow that line gets over time. This is another clay line. This is an offset you'll see at the end here. An offset is when two pieces of sewer line come together and they're not smooth, and so you'll see in this case they're holding a little bit of water, probably about a ½ inch to maybe a quarter of an inch. Here's another example of an offset. In this case, it's a PVC line connected to a clay pipe, and you can see the offset there is fairly significant, probably holding an inch or more of water, likely leaking. It's possible that this connection was originally done properly and shifted over time. It's also possible that this repair, when you see two different types of material, it's usually a repair, was done incorrectly originally. This is something that could often be dug up and fixed with a fairly simple spot repair, although you would want to inspect the line on both ends of this, particularly the clay, which is likely the older portion of the line, to see if there's something like shifting that has caused this offset. It might require further repairs. This is clearly a poorly done repair. So this is also an offset, PVC connecting to clay, but you'll see in this case they didn't even bother to find a good piece of clay line to attach to. It's actually a broken clay line, and they just attached right there. Not only do you have an offset, but this is definitely leaking into the ground. Notice how black this line is. This is a material called Orangeburg, which is a particle board-like substance. It's basically a paper product that was used to create sewer lines in the 1900s. Eventually, it loses its rigidity and starts to lose its shape, and you'll see that's what's happening here. There's a bulge on the bottom. It's bowing in on the left-hand side. Once this happens, there's nothing you can do about this other than replace the line. All right, this is a good example of what a belly looks like. A belly is a low spot in the line, or a part that has improper pitch. You'll see this actually has a upward or positive slope, and so it's retaining water. This can cause clogs, backups, all kinds of things, because material tends to accumulate here. This definitely needs to be repaired, and unfortunately bellies can be some of the more expensive and extensive repairs that we do, because you have to remove this section of line, however long that belly is, plus usually some line upstream and downstream from this, in order to essentially regrade the line and create proper pitch so that it will drain. This is a really extreme example of something that was causing a belly. You don't generally see PVC or sewer line in general that's bent like this. In this case, when we dug it up, what we found was that the builder of the home had actually laid the sewer line over the top of a large boulder that was in the yard, rather than remove that boulder, and then sort of compacted it, and as they did that, bent the sewer line down. So what we did is dig it up, remove the boulder, and put the sewer line down so that it had a nice straight slope and would drain properly. Last but not least, this is another foreign object in your sewer line. In this case, this is a communication line that was horizontally bored right through the train line. Now, you may see this periodically, utilities in your neighborhood or your city laying new line using a horizontal boring machine rather than having to do trenching, which is a great option. When they do that, they're supposed to check for sewer lines and other utilities, but occasionally they miss. When this happens, or if this happens to you, make sure you get pictures and submit those, because the utility company that put a hole in your sewer line is usually responsible for the repair. Okay, that wraps up our tour of sewer line issues. Hopefully you found this useful. If you found it useful or interesting, please feel free to click like or to subscribe to us. If you have any other questions about sewer lines or concerns about your sewer line, feel free to reach out to us at Sewer Lines Only. Thanks.